welcome back. We're at the Sleep Out in the Park, raising awareness about homelessness. And right now joining us is Theresa Sellers, Director of Community Initiatives for UPMC Pinnacle. Theresa, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time. This is one of the pre-recorded interviews, and we're really grateful to have so many really important members of the community that wanted to share what they're doing and let folks know, first of all, what they're providing and then what they have for additional need. So we want to hear ways the community can help you if that's possible too. So you work for UPMC Pinnacle, which is an insurance provider?
No, hospital system. We currently have 7 in the area, with Carlisle Hospital being one of them.
Ah, okay. Good to know. Yeah, I knew that it had just transferred over in the last couple of years or so.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you set a list of the things that you do. I was blown away because I had actually been in on the discussions a few years ago to try and bring some sort of outreach to Community Cares, what was then Carlisle Cares. And this seems to have expanded beyond what it was then, for sure. So basically what you do is you work with, for the most part, economically underprivileged individuals, whether they have a home or not. You also help homebound people.
Correct.
Why don't you give us a little rundown of what?
So some of the programming is around the homeless, and I have insurance enrollment specialists, I have social workers, all levels of care, just to make sure that people are getting the resources that they need. The main goal, big effort, is obviously quality of life, but also keeping them out of the hospital and out of the emergency department for non-urgent reasons. So we get referrals from many different community agencies, the hospital itself, and then kind of look at the case and see what resources are needed, and then deploy that team. So we do have some physicians and a nurse practitioner that do home visits for people that are homebound by the CMS guidelines, whether that be they're morbidly obese and can't physically get out, or they have a psychiatric disorder that interrupts their thinking, and they can't get to appointments and those things. So we have that home visit program. We have a staff of paramedics that are not on the 911 side of life, that they're on the community side. So people that are discharged from the hospital that just need that extra little check-in, they go to the home, look at their pill bottles, make sure they have what they need, take their vital signs. And they are also assisting right now with the COVID testing, with the swabbing for those people that are homebound or can't get out and need tested.
Okay, I want to back up a little bit. You said CMF guidelines. What does that mean?
Medicare has a guideline, that defines homebound. So some people may feel that they're homebound, but ultimately they can get out. So, and that's on our end, on the billing. We just have to be careful that we're not billing for services that the person could receive in an office.
Right. And if someone is listening or watching right now and they are thinking, oh my God, I haven't seen anyone in 20 years. Is there a way they can reach out to you? I mean, I literally, when I was putting this event together, I hadn't thought we might be talking to people who could actually obtain service that still have a home.
Most definitely. Yep. And I can give you my phone number. My desk number is 717-782-4629.
And if they're unsure if their 20 years stuck in their house is enough, can they get an initial conversation with you and find that out?
Yes, please call and I will walk them through whichever program they feel that they may need. Yes.
Oh, that's just magnificent. Thank you for
that.
So you said that one of the things that you're able to do when you find someone is and this goes true for that homebound person, I'm sure, you're able to actually, if they haven't got Medicare or health insurance, you're able to connect them with it so that they can move forward. How does that work?
I have two insurance enrollment specialists. They are not able to tell people what they should take, but they can walk the process through with them and guide them through the application process. And they'll do the assessment to make sure they're eligible. And it really helps so that people can stay online. There's a lot of paperwork that I think individuals get lost in and are unable to complete that process. So Michelle and Shannon can help them with that task.
That's one of our big concerns anyway for people who are living in questionable situations or you know, poorly maintained situations, is they don't always have the access to make sure they get their paper. I can't tell you where my paperwork is, and I've got it somewhere in the house, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely. So Michelle and Shannon are experts. They do that for multiple people and have recouped millions of dollars for our system.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And made sure that people remove that one intellectual barrier from actually asking for help, right?
Right,
That fear
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, yep. They can also assist with the charity care applications also if somebody is actually not insurable. There are other options that they can help them walk through too.
Yeah, as a shelter director, I've done many charity applications for people who did qualify for Medicare but didn't know it.
Yeah.
The other thing that is sort of heartbreaking is when you have someone who's homeless and they really need an ambulance, but they're afraid that they'll never be able to pay the ambulance bill, because many homeless people have incomes. This is one of the most nerve-wracking parts of advocating for the poor, is people assume that they have nothing and they're not working or they don't have an income, and they just live on the dole,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah.
they actually have an income that can be not big enough to have a home, but could be wiped out by a $1,200 or $1,500 you know, ambulance ride.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
So how many, is Medicare handled through carriers? I mean, are there different insurance carriers that, so if, when your outreach is out there and you come across someone who is maybe under a different carrier, does that impact your ability to help them at all?
No, we help everybody. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that makes no no bearing on what we do.
And you know, you made me really happy too when you said that you go into the person's living situation, we'll call it, because if they're,
Yes.
you know, if they're in the woods, they're in the woods.
Yeah.
And you can take a look at their pill bottles, because that's really heartening too. I've had developmentally delayed homeless who their caregiver died of old age, and now they're a 60-year-old developmentally delayed homeless person.
Yeah.
And they can't read their pill bottles.
Yes.
And so part of my job as a shelter director would be to read them their medicines and then either color code the bottle or help them find a way to make sure they took it. And so the fact that there are people, it's really very exciting for me that you have this sort of outreach going on.
So the language program is also in our department with getting interpreters and some translation for, because we're seeing more Nepali and some different groups, the Spanish, of course, so that we make sure that they understand what they're to be taking. But to actually see a pill bottle is the best, honestly, because the patient isn't always sure of what they're to take and how they're to take it. So we try our best, and like you said, you kind of got to think outside the box sometimes and be creative. But that definitely helps to be in their living situation, to see firsthand what they're dealing with.
What can people in the community do to help you? This sounds like such a highly technical, obviously we don't want we want volunteer doctors, but we don't want volunteers pretending to be doctors. So, so what can people do in the community?
Just suggest that they call us so that we can have the chance to help them. There are those that we are not aware of that, you know, don't want to bother anybody, but really it's not a bother. It's really not. So any of that connecting us to people would be helpful.
When you say I saw a woman I had known that was living out behind a building for a long time and I worried about her health.
Mm-hmm.
If I called and told you she was there, would you bring the police as well?
No.
Because that's also a big deterrent
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Well, and it is, and we are mandated reporters if we feel that somebody is at risk to themselves or to others, but we don't bring others with us. We don't, yeah. No.
That's great. Well, I'm thrilled that your program it's not even very old, is it?
It'll be, well, it started with myself and a social worker, so in the 8 years, it's grown quite a bit. And of course, now we're in York and Hanover and Cumberland Perry and Dauphin. So yeah, it's busy.
That's amazing in 8 years, and we've needed it for 40.
Yeah, right.
So it's just
Exactly.
wonderful. I'm just so grateful. And you are physically located in Harrisburg, but you have this broad outreach.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. And I do want to say too, if there are like groups of people that wanted to go together and do something, you know, there's always that need for toiletry items, or, you know, if you wanted to do like a project with your youth group or Girl Scouts or things like that, we do a lot of that coordination.
Oh.
Feminine hygiene products is always a big one, you know, that we just keep in our vans. And as we go around, if people are in need, t-shirts and socks, those kind of things. So yeah, there's always an opportunity.
Great. Well, this is wonderful. I'm really grateful, and wish you the best of luck. And if there's anything that we can ever do to help, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. That's Theresa Sellers, and she's amazing. And we'll be back with another interview coming up.
Yeah, this is what
I didn't ask you this on screen, but real quick, how is it going with the COVID? Are you?
Actually, we've had, because I'm the point person for PEMA, you know, and filling out the application to get housing for the homeless that are positive. I've had no more than probably 5 people. And when we go under the bridge to do our general wellness checks, there has not been a lot.
Well,
so surprisingly,
maybe the fact that people shun them is actually protecting them right now.
Yeah, I think it might be. It's not been bad, so hopefully it stays that way.
Do you run into any children who are, you know, homeless and unable to go to school right now? Or
not a lot. We do know that there are homeless out there, but they're usually couch surfing, and under roof at least. Yeah, it's tough to see sometimes, you know. I'm sure you've seen the, you know,
yeah.
heartbreaking stories, but yeah. No, we don't have too many. We do see them through the lines at the food kitchen sometimes, the younger toddler ones, but usually at the high school age when they're homeless, they're hanging out with a friend or not as visible.
Yeah, they hide pretty good.
Yeah, yep, they really do.
All right, thanks so much, Theresa.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.